Wake up, Erica. It's time to record a podcast.
Oh my God.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of You Had Me at Eat. I'm Jules, and I'm awake. And this is Erica. Wake up.
I only had one thing of coffee this morning. Clearly it wasn't enough.
Should we take a pause while you get another cup?
Oh my God. I don't know. I just yawned and then just started crying. I think that's just how I... That is the state.
Does that kind of sum up how your week has been going, Erica?
Seriously. Oh my God. So,
how has your week been going, Erica?
Great. If you've been following my Instagram, Celiac and the Beast, I have been doing some testing, some upper GI testing, which is so different than my lower GI testing, which I usually have. We're screening for EOE, eosinophilic esophagitis, and GERD, some reflux disease, whatever the hell that is.
Say EOE like 3 times really fast.
That I can do. I don't even know what GERD stands for. Something about a reflux disease. Anyway, whatever. So things have been getting stuck in my throat or my esophagus, I should say. And then I also have reflux after things have been getting stuck in my throat. And I have had several instances of this happening, and it happens and it flares up and then it goes away. But the last flare up, I finally called Mayo Clinic and I'm like, hey, can we please do something about this? Because this is not normal. I should probably get screened for this. And you said that you'd screen for it several months ago and nobody's called me back. So they're like, yes, we're going to schedule you for every test in the book for it immediately, which is lovely, but also it's a lot to put on your plate. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been doing barium swallow studies, which are pretty gross.
Yeah.
And traumatizing.
And it's amazing, actually, how many people, I don't know if EOE especially has been something that they're diagnosing more recently, but so many people I have met and who write into me who are like, oh yeah, my kid has EOE. And that's why, he's on a gluten-free diet or whatever. So there's a lot more people who have been diagnosed with that or have realized that they have this, problem lately, and it's really amazing to me because I remember just a few short years ago
nobody knew. It was super rare.
Yeah, but you go to whole conferences now on EOE. I mean, it's a real thing. And I can't even. It just sounds terrible.
And it's really it's pretty common for people with celiac disease.
Yeah.
So my doctor's like, yeah, of course it runs concurrently with celiac, so it wouldn't be a surprise if you had it. I was just kind of taken aback by how
so many things do.
She's
We're
like,
so
totally
blessed in that way, aren't we? That also comes with celiac.
Yeah. But so does GERD. So honestly, it could be either, and I don't really know. They're both fighting for attention. So we'll see if
buy
it's
one get one free kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just for fun, throw one in for funsies.
Yeah.
So they do a couple different types of testing for EOE before they do the final test, which is an upper endoscopy where they take biopsies to look for eosinophils lining your esophagus, or they'll see damage from acid reflux from either GERD or EOE. But the 2 prior tests that they like to do just to check for strictures and structure abnormalities, meaning your esophagus has been eroded so far to where it has scar tissue around it, so where you can't swallow. Don't know why I made that thing. Your esophagus maybe becomes
hand gestures
so where
are
you can't
not appropriate here.
Swallow things appropriately.
Put your hands down, Erica.
So, how can I describe this without any sort of sexual innuendo? I just choked on my own spit. That's part of it.
Yeah.
So, this barium swallow study uses X-ray to have you swallow food, swallow liquid, and then they'll see, is it a problem swallowing in your upper part of your esophagus with a swallowing mechanism? So there's a little there's flappy doos.
Here you go with your hands again.
Yeah. There's flappy doos.
Flappy doos.
There's certain mechanisms on how to swallow properly, and your body just naturally knows how to do it. But on some people, either elderly people who have a dysphagia where they don't necessarily feel the urge to swallow fully, or maybe they're swallowing halfway, or maybe they're storing liquid in the underside of their mouth and they're not swallowing it. There's so many different things that you can see on an X-ray.
Well, also Parkinson's and
for sure,
other types of dementias and things like that.
So the first test is a barium swallow study, and it just is really looking at the first maybe quadrant or two of your esophagus. And you'll dip food. First, you'll take sips of barium and swallow it. And so they'll see how the swallowing mechanism works. And then you'll dip food into the barium, and then you'll swallow that or chew that up and swallow it. And then you'll see it as it goes down
like
the
a condiment, like dipping your fries in the barium.
Yes, but it is like
brought
dipping
your own fries too, didn't you?
It's like dipping food into like a really gross pudding, because it's a pudding consistency. And I'm like, this is far grosser than I thought it would be. And so we get into the room, and weeks ago, like months ago, actually, my doctor said, they will not have gluten-free food. You have to bring your own. And like, nobody warned me of that again. So if I had forgotten that one thing, I would have just gone in and they wouldn't have food for me. How messed up is that?
I can't, I don't even know where to begin. It's so not surprising. No hospital does. It's just crazy.
They had saltine crackers out. And I'm like, don't feed me that.
No. And when you go and you have like, you know, any of these procedures and you wake up from anesthesia and they're all like, here, have a saltine. Here, have a graham cracker. Like, no. No. They've never contemplated the fact that, you know, a large swath of the population cannot have a saltine cracker. Yeah. I'm sorry, but they can't have
other things too. I mean, so I had the first taste of barium and I didn't swallow it. I go, can I please check the ingredients?
Yeah.
As I have barium in my mouth, I'm like, can I check the ingredients to make sure this has none of my allergies in it? And it's just chemicals. So I'm like, that's fine. Whatever. I'll swallow radium. I don't care at this point. Just figure out what's going on with me. So
my jaw will fall off, but I don't care really. It's fine.
I brought cookies. I brought French fries from the night before, so stale French fries.
Even better dipped in barium.
But because fries are the one most likely to get stuck, I brought those so I could show them that's what it's like. And then you have to like swallow this barium pill. But anyway, you can see most of it actually, which is cool because I've never seen an x-ray of myself swallowing. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I did it and they could see that food was getting stuck. But with water, it was going down. But I'm like, is food supposed to get stuck like that? And they're like, yeah, you have dysphagia, like some sort of like delayed swallowing and some motor gastric stuff, meaning things just aren't functioning the way that they're supposed to be, but they don't know why yet. That's why they're doing more tests. So that was the first test. And it was not traumatic because it was just a light amount of barium. You ate like barium pudding. It wasn't that bad. So I'm like, oh, it was not that bad. Like, and the person was super, super nice. She was a speech pathologist. And she was like, yeah, does it feel like it? Because I can kind of see on the x-ray, that's what it would feel like. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Amazing. She had bedside manner to where I could like talk to her and I could tell her what I felt. And she's like, yes, I see it on the x-ray. Perfect. Great experience. Besides them not having food. That was shitty. But besides that, great experience.
Just a small detail.
And then the next week, she's like, okay, well, then that's the full barium study. And I'm like, okay. And I thought I was just going to drink barium and they would just like lay me down. But
yeah, I've had that. That's no fun either.
Well, like, that's fine. I would be fine. I would have been fine with that. That sucks so much. I would rather have that any other day than what I just went through. So I'm drinking barium and I'm like drinking a lot of it. And they're watching it go down. I'm like, cool. And they're like, okay, well, now we're going to give you Pop Rocks. And I'm like, pardon? I'm going to give you
You're
Pop
going
Rocks,
to explode.
and you're going to drink it. You're going to drink it and you're going to not burp. And then you're going to drink some barium. And I'm like, is this like a joke? Like, and I'm like, no, this is a procedure. And I'm like, so like, you want me to drink dry, unflavored Pop Rocks and then drink a bunch of barium? And they're like, yeah, but don't burp. And I'm like, that seems dangerous. So I'm already a stomach full of barium because I was like, okay, you made me chug barium. I have a stomach full of barium. I had the Pop Rocks. I'm like, oh, immediately I'm going to barf. And so she's like, drink barium. I'm like, and then I burp once. She goes, I saw that burp. And I'm like, she's like, don't burp. She goes, that's fine. Just don't burp again. And then it's an automatic thing.
Was she going to beat your knuckles?
So you imagine having Pop, it's like the Mentos Coca-Cola commercial.
I can't imagine it.
And then I just have the stomach full of barium pudding. And I'm just like,
a human volcano.
I'm going to barf. So she's watching it and she goes, you burped again. I'm like, oh my, I'm so sorry. Like, it is a natural thing. My body is like wanting to expel all these things, and it's either going to burp or vomit. And I don't know which one. And like, so I'm choosing to burp, and I'm sorry. So she's like, we're just not getting the imaging. I'm like, and then she's like, we're going to lie you down. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, we're going to lie you down. So they take the standing x-ray and they tilt you down. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable right now. And she goes, we want you uncomfortable because we want to see if it's coming back up. I'm like, oh, it's coming back up.
There.
So she first lies me on my back.
Oh, this sounds so freaking miserable.
And then she makes me drink, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. I have barium and Pop Rocks. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to barf. I'm going to barf. I'm going to barf. And then she goes, lay on your stomach. And I'm like, still lay on your stomach? I'm like, this is, and I just kept repeating, this is so uncomfortable. And like zero bedside manner from this person. Like, was like not nice, was not friendly, was not like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And so I lay on my stomach, and she goes, now you have to chug this. And I go, I'm laying on my stomach. I have a belly full of Pop Rocks. And then she's asking me to chug barium through a straw. So I'm like taking small sips. She goes, you have to take bigger sips. And I go, and I finally stop. I'm like, I cannot do this. I'm just like yelling. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is so uncomfortable. I can't. And she goes, okay, well, take a minute. And I'm just like, I'm going to barf. Because I'm laying pressed against my stomach.
Yeah.
And I'm just like so uncomfortable. And she's asking me to chug more and more and more. And I'm looking at the screen, and I'm just like, bro, it's going to come back up. So I'm just like I'm chugging lightly because I cannot chug. I can't chug, period. Like, that makes me want to, like, water even comes up now. So you're asking me to chug barium after I've had Pop Rocks?
This is brutal. Yeah.
So at some point I'm just like, lady, I laugh and I go, lady, I cannot do this anymore. And she goes, okay. So I stand up, I go, that's so uncomfortable. And she goes, I need you to take another try. I go, I was like, I'm an adult. I know what I'm doing. I cannot do anymore. And so she was kind of taken aback. And I'm like, that is really uncomfortable. And I want you to know that that's really uncomfortable. She goes, and she knew that she kind of wasn't having the best bedside manner. She goes, I can understand now that that's uncomfortable, and I'm sorry. And she was just like, she said something to where she acknowledged the fact that that was not great.
I hear you.
She was not nice. And I'm like, I'm sure it's uncomfortable for everyone, but she could have at least walked me through and guided, here's what I'm going to do. First, you're going to do this. Then you're going to take Pop Rocks. It's going to suck. But then we're going to look at this, and then you're going to lay in your stomach, and we're going to ask you to, because it just seemed like she was just asking me to do more and more and more and more and drink more and more. And I'm like, I want to vomit. Like, I want to vomit. I'm going to vomit. I cannot do this. And I'm to the point of like crying because I'm so like full of just like, I want to barf so badly, and I cannot barf. If I could barf, I would barf, but I cannot. So I get out of it, and she's like, we're done. I'm like, great. And I'm just I'm like, get me out of here. And so I'm like, that's so effing uncomfortable. And then I just kept burping as I'm getting out. I'm like, please let me not barf right now. And I'm just like on the verge of an anxiety attack because I hate vomiting. It's like one of my least favorite things to do. I have like
the worst.
Severe emetophobia. I cry every time I barf. I have so much anxiety around it. I have a full-fledged panic attack when I throw up. So I'm like, don't do it. Don't have a panic attack. Don't do this. So I walk in my car and I'm just like, don't barf, don't barf, don't barf. And so I started recording, and I'm just like, I'm here recording because I don't want to barf. And I walk through it. I'm just like, tell me that this isn't the most traumatizing thing you've had today. I would rather have a million speculums. You know, I'd rather have a million OBGYN visits and just be like fully naked in front of 1,000 people having an OBGYN speculum visit than ever have that again. I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. And so, and then you leave and you have a belly full of barium.
Yeah. And you're like, now what do I do with this? Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I mean, I've had to drink barium. I've had to lie down on the table and shake you and all that kind of stuff, but didn't get the Pop Rocks treatment. So
I don't know how that's legal. I mean, and so the best part is that I got so many responses back that people have had to do it. And they're like, I don't know how you didn't vomit, because everyone that replied to me threw up. Either they threw up during the test or straight after the test, or one of them threw up on the attendant, which I'm like,
so this lady, you were like You were awesome. I don't know why she didn't give you more high praise. I mean, you didn't vomit. You didn't vomit on her.
I just, the whole thing was like, I think if it would have been handled slightly better, like I understand that she must do 1 million of these, but this is my first time doing it.
Right.
I have told her I have not done this before. She goes, have you done this before? I go, I did the swallow study. She goes, okay, so it's going to be similar, but we're going to do a lot of other things and you're going to lie down.
Similar, but so very different.
So the pop rocks was just kind of like, is this real? And then she's like, we're going to lie down on your stomach. I'm like, oh, all right, I don't want to barf thinking about that. And then she's like, oh, belly full of pop rocks. And then we're also going to chug this. And I'm like, I must have eaten so much barium. I'm like, if you could just tell me, like, this is what we're going to walk through, I feel like I would have been more prepared and less anxiety prone. I don't know. I don't know if anything actually could have done that, but I think a better bedside manner as far as like walking me through things and understanding that like it's a challenge to do this.
That's kind of across the board though. I mean, so many people in the medical profession, thank you for your service, but so many people need that lesson of, I know you do 1 million of these, but this is my first time as a patient, right? Like you got to understand it's a very traumatic experience from the patient side of things. Like even, anything from just the swallow study, which wasn't that bad, but still was not fun. It made it so much easier for you because you had somebody with great bedside manner.
The speech language pathologist that walked me through, like we had an appointment 2 hours ahead of time. It's like, hey, I just want to walk you through the test. And I'm like, perfect. I brought my own French fries, like that was beautiful. And then I walked into the second test. They're like, all right, stand there and drink this. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, pop rocks. I'm like, pardon me? And I don't know why it was the pop rocks that really threw me, but it was just like, I know how uncomfortable this is going to be. And I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
I thought I was just going to continue to drink barium. And yeah, I'm sure I'd be uncomfortable lying down, but like, I didn't know the second step. And I think that's what really triggered my anxiety, but also like, I'm uncomfortable. Yeah. So uncomfortable. And I'm sure when I do my next test, I'm going to be just as uncomfortable with the other side of my body. But like, just let me be prepared for it, I think. And like,
or just gracious. Acknowledge, like, I acknowledge the fact that you've got to be uncomfortable. Sucks. Yeah. This is a real bummer and I'm sorry. But, yeah. So you don't feel so alone.
I just felt like the whole, like, I needed to take a breath and try again. And she goes, maybe next time it'll be easier. And I'm like, I'm not a child. I know your tactic right now. It's not going to be easier next time. But bless, I mean, like that must suck to do that and have people not be happy with you all the time. But I still want as a patient, someone to just be like, I guess more understanding of like, this is really shitty. And I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
I just wish I had a recording of Erica, what I said.
That was really shitty, and I'm so sorry.
Thank you for hearing me.
I hear you, and I am so sorry that you had to go through that.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyway, so I have dysphagia or something. I don't know. And then we'll see, I guess, on the upper endoscopy that maybe it's GERD, maybe it's not, maybe it's EOE, maybe it's whatever. Who knows? Who knows what it is?
But it's something.
Honestly, it does make me feel better when I have that swallow study and they're like, oh, we see it. Like it's clearly not doing what it's supposed to be doing in your esophagus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's with anything. Like when I was diagnosed with celiac disease, I was like, thank you so much. Like, not that I wanted celiac disease, but I wanted something. I wanted to know what the heck was wrong with me. Like, oh, that's why I've been sick for 10 years. Like, it's not all in my head.
Yeah. And like having anxiety is so hard because sometimes your symptoms can manifest to physical symptoms, right? So you're like, oh, I'm having so much anxiety. Oh, now it feels like I'm having a heart attack, right? That's anxiety manifesting in symptoms. And so I'm kind of like, am I doing this to myself? Like, is this one of those, or do I have an actual thing that's happening with my body that's making me do this? So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, like what's going on. So we'll see. And then hopefully I can get on some sort of medication or something that works for me, whatever. So That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, Jules. And I have an upper endoscopy next week, and then we're going to figure it all out. What have you been up to?
I have been mired in sourdough, which is, I mean, it has its pros and cons, but like I'm trying to find
So much.
so much sourdough. Yeah. I've been trying to find new ways to use sourdough discard. So I made lemon blueberry sourdough scones this weekend.
So yummy. It's so good at scones.
Yeah, I love scones. They're so easy. And I love that lemon blueberry combination. So I whipped those up this weekend, and I feel so good about myself when I'm not throwing away the discard. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look, you go in this recipe.
Your
So
hard-earned
that was
discard.
fun. Exactly. Yeah, so I did that. And then, so I put that recipe up this weekend. Now I've got the gluten-free sourdough pancakes and the banana bread and the scones for the discard recipes. And then I've got, I made sourdough baguettes last night, which were super yummy. And I've got breadsticks and artisan bread, and of course, like the regular sourdough loaf. So I'm like, I'm all in with the sourdough.
You're
right
sourdough'd.
now. I'm sourdough'd. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of sourdough-ing. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. But then I got my latest issue of Bon Appetit magazine, which
hot doggy.
Yeah, it's got a giant, nasty-looking hot dog on the front of it. I can't say that's very appetizing, and I don't know how one would eat it. It's got a pickle almost as large as the hot dog. It'd be very difficult to eat that.
love pickles on a hot dog.
I love pickles, but like this is not. In terms of food styling, like it's attractive because it's got lots of colors, but like, come on, you can't eat that. It's kind of anyway. But so I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I looked down the bottom. It says gluten-free baking for everybody. Oh, cool. Bon Appetit is tackling gluten-free. This is article for me. Yay. And I open it up, and of course I'm like, wah, wah, wah. Yeah. This is, okay. So y'all, you have to understand, Eric and I come from like a magazine background, right? So we were editors in a magazine, wrote articles for magazines, still write all the time. So we're probably a little bit overcritical when we read other magazines. But I swear to you, this article was written by AI. I mean, bad
Very
AI.
well could have been.
But it has someone's name on it. It actually has a byline. Like there's a real person. I looked her up on LinkedIn.
Oh no.
And she has no information on LinkedIn at all, except for the fact that she writes for Bon Appetit. And she, apparently went to culinary school and got an associate's degree. But she ain't no writer. It's bad, like really, really bad. Like it's so disappointing when you pick up a magazine like Bon Appetit and you're like, wow.
And they're finally talking about me.
Yeah.
And when you see that, and you're like, ugh.
I mean, it's just first of all, it's all of like 2 paragraphs and they couldn't pull off like decent writing. It's really bad. And then you open it up and there's some recipes in here and you're like, okay, whatever. And then I start looking into it, and one of the recipes is oatmeal cookies. Now, okay. Yeah. All of a sudden Erica's face is like, oh boy, here we go. And so it just says oatmeal. Like you just add, and in fact, in the article, it says old-fashioned oats. That's the ingredient that you add is old-fashioned oats. That's all it says. And so that's kind of troubling. And then it says baker's notes. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's going to say something about like, you can't just use regular oats.
Yeah.
Nope. It doesn't talk about that. It talks about don't overmix it or something. So then at the very end, it has this section called gluten-free pantry. And it says, these are the things that you need to have in your gluten-free pantry. And I'm very disappointed in what they chose. And again, I think they literally just typed something into Google and said, what what do people, bake with or something. And it's so poorly researched. I can't even go there, but like, I don't get me started. I got really riled up, obviously, but they have 6 things, and the 6th thing is oat flour. And it literally does not say anything about buying gluten-free oats. Nothing. So if you were someone who found out you needed to eat gluten-free and you picked up this magazine because you think it's a trusted resource and you're like, oh my gosh, I can have oats and I just need to buy old-fashioned oats and I can just buy oat flour and I can just bake with the best of them, you would be getting sick. And it's very, very, very disappointing to see that that they're doing this. And go ahead.
The people who read Bon Appetit. Okay, so these could be the people who are like, I work in a restaurant. I love food. Yeah. I want to be a baker. I want to bake out of my home. Cool. You're a home baker. You make gluten-free, right? Like that kind of stuff just like really, really focuses on the fact that like you're not baking for someone with celiac disease. You're baking for this idea, this concept of gluten-free, when in reality, like there's so much that goes into gluten-free baking for someone who's on a medical diet, which is what gluten-free was made for.
Yep.
Like there's zero discussion about that in any of that. Like,
nope.
And it worries me because those are the people that are going to read this. And those are the people who bake, who own restaurants, who are part of the culinary scene. Just reinforces a stereotype that it's not that serious, that it's just the use of different flours.
Yep.
Like, nope. Okay. There's not even one side note that's like, if you're baking for celiac disease requires blah, blah, blah. Like that could have been something. How did that not get passed by?
Nothing. There's nothing.
This diet originated as a medical diet. That's what's so wild. It's not like we're talking about veganism and you're like, oh, well, someone needs to talk about dairy-free for allergies. That's not what the vegan diet started as. The gluten-free diet was started as a medically necessary diet for those people with celiac disease. When you're talking about gluten-free diet, you should not be separating that from the medical entity that it is. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm just like, come on.
I know. I was really upset when I read this. And so then, of course, I'm like, okay, I need to write to the editor. I need to write to this author. There's no way to contact them. None. Like there's literally nothing in the magazine. And I'm a subscriber. Okay. So I go online and there's no way to contact them online. The masthead has 0 emails. There is no way to contact anyone. The only way to contact anyone is to write a letter to Bon Appetit magazine in New York.
Oh, we're going to write a letter.
That is it. So I reached out to the editor on LinkedIn. And I'm sure I won't hear back from her, but like I did, the person who wrote this article, if it's not an AI person, like I said, she doesn't go on LinkedIn. There's no point in me even contacting her, but, it's just, this is not the way to run a magazine. First of all, like you can't comment. You can't write a letter to the editor. You can't there's literally no way to contact people. Like that doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway,
we're going to have to go on social media. This is going to have to be a social media campaign now. Now this is just frustrating.
In my free time, here we go.
I would love to take that on, Jules. I would love to get people pissed off online. That's my favorite thing to do. Can't wait.
You go, girl. I'll go back to my sourdough and you go back to pissing people off.
I know. Well, I mean, in all my free time.
I know.
That's what I love to do.
It's just very upsetting because, we had a great magazine, right? And we tackled issues. We tried to keep people safe. And we also wrote well. I think we wrote well-written articles.
And then we get laid off. And that's why we have a podcast now.
That's right. That's right.
Other people took our jobs. So.
Oh, you know what? Funny thing. I published a picture in one of my Valentine's posts. If you'd scrolled through one of my carousel posts on Instagram and Facebook, I found a picture of a cover of our magazine where the gluten-free cookie cups that I made were on the cover
Day ones,
of our magazine. And It was from 2015.
Yeah, I still have that issue.
Oh my God, that's so old.
I do still have that issue.
But I had an electronic version of the cover, probably because I had to preview it or review it or approve it or something. I don't know why. But so I put that in the carousel. And I had people reach out to me that they still had that issue as well.
Mm-hmm. It's great. All of our recipes in there. I have a giant bin of all of my old magazines.
Yeah.
If I just want to cry one day, I just want to sit and cry one day, I just go through them. It's great.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Anyway, it was good times. But it's just disappointing when mainstream media dips its toe in the water of something like this and treats it like a fad diet. And it happens all the time, but it's dangerous because there are new people who are being diagnosed and going gluten-free, realizing that for whatever the medical reason is that they need to go gluten-free all the time. And people are baking for others and realizing that, oh, there's someone in my family or in my restaurant, I'm going to be introducing these things or whatever. And I deal with this a lot in, consulting and other things too, where, chefs think that they've taken some requisite course and, they think that they have it covered. And you wouldn't believe the number of chefs who think that you can kill gluten because it's like a bacteria. I mean, there's so many things that people don't understand and just don't go there. Like you don't know what you're talking about. And it's dangerous.
Just the proliferation of just straight up oat milk and everything is just,
it's everywhere.
It's so frustrating. And
oat flour is a fantastic flour. I mean, it does work great. And that's why people like to use it so much. And oat milk is a really great milk for making a latte. That's why people like it so much. But you can't put it in everything and expect that, people aren't going to get sick if you're not using safe oats for people who need a medically, prescribed gluten-free diet, because conventional oats are contaminated with gluten. So I'll just put that out there as a fact. And if you don't
tested, they're far over 20 parts per million and considered unsafe. That's just everyone's stance on it. That is everyone's stance on it, period. Yeah. In fact, some countries go above and beyond and just say no oats of any kind are gluten-free. So that's not controversial.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because no one's mentioning that fact. And maybe I don't want the onus to ever be on us to be like, hey, it's so frustrating that we're always have to be the one to be like, hey, just so you know, this isn't technically labeled gluten-free. Or, hey, just so you know, like when you're serving this in the coffee shop, this is not a gluten-free latte or whatever. Like, the onus is always on us, and it's frustrating, and it is just a more mental and emotional labor for us to go through every freaking time we go out, we eat outside the house, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, it feels like a broken record, and I hate that we're always talking about it. And it's like, okay, here we go. One more time. Yeah. But, it's the time when you don't say it that someone's like, what? I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
And if you want more information, I think I have 4 articles on my website all about, and maybe 5 now, all about oats. I'm sure you probably do. We'll put some links there for people to go to find out why oats are contaminated, how they're contaminated, how to find and shop for safe gluten-free oats, and how to identify, the difference between safe oats and not safe oats on a gluten-free diet. And the fact that 8% of people who have celiac disease, it doesn't matter what oats they are or how safe they are or how segregated they are, they still can't have oats because they're just in that population that is, their bodies are confused by the proteins and they still can't tolerate oats. So it's just, oats are a tricky grain for people on a gluten-free diet. And
you can't just write a 2-page article with no notes that talk about it for a gluten-free diet without mentioning the intricacies of oats on a gluten-free diet. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Sure, that works.
The intricate nature of oats.
That's going to be your next article. The intricate nature of oats. Well, moving on from oats, there's a couple things have been in the news lately that we should probably address because you and I have both gotten a lot of questions on them. I think the first thing that you wanted to mention was something from Beyond Celiac.
Yeah, it was really interesting email that I got from Beyond Celiac and a couple LinkedIn posts, and I'm not quite sure how to decipher it because I guess I don't really understand it all, but they sent a message out that says that they are launching the first investment program for celiac disease therapeutics. So they have created Beyond Celiac Investments, which is an investment program to accelerate the development of treatments and a cure for celiac disease by leveraging the speed and scale of venture capital in capital markets. So BCI launched with an initial funding of $2 million, and additional capital will be raised through donations. And they are using it with funds from Beyond Celiac, and the Beyond Celiac investment team includes Alice Bass, who's president of Beyond Celiac. So BCI is part of Beyond Celiac, and it's part of their Beyond Celiac Science Plan, which was developed in 2021 to drive the search for a cure by 2030.
Which I'm just on the edge of my seat about. I mean, they're going to
6 years from
celiac in 6 years. Fascinating.
Yeah. And Beyond Celiac does a ton. We've mentioned this before with like funding grants for research for curing celiac disease. They are the largest 501c3 celiac disease research grant funder. And they did 5 grants totaling $1.6 million in 2023, which is great. We love that. What I don't understand is they're investing this. So is this like a stock market thing? I don't really understand.
It's very
How
vague.
How does investment work?
I know. Do tell. It's very vague the way that they've written it. They make it sound like it's going to be something that's like even on the stock market or something like that, but I don't think it is. I think it's, it's venture capital. So it's a different structure for
capital, for funding. Okay.
Investment. Yeah. But, it's a venture philanthropy model, but
so that means that they can give money to like private firms or private pharmaceutical companies or something that would be different than like funding research.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's going to be giving money to pharma companies for sure, but I don't know why it's different than what they were already doing. That's what I don't understand.
It says our plans for BCI are to invest significant resources to identify promising treatments under development, aka pharmaceutical companies, as well as those that have been investigated or approved by other purposes that might also benefit celiac disease patients. Yeah, I don't know how this is different than what their grant research is.
Yeah.
I don't know, but hey, that's
go
cool.
for it.
I mean, it seems like this is a cool thing. They put out some press releases on it, seem to be getting a lot of exposure. It's just really cool that they're fighting for the cure. They always have. They've been working really hard on it. I used to work with them on doing some research for that stuff, and it's awesome. I don't know how this is going to work by 2030, but like...
It's aspirational, Erica, okay?
We're all aspirational.
Everyone needs a goal.
Yeah, so if you... Please help us better understand what this is, because I have read like 4 things, including Alice's like LinkedIn posts, and maybe I just don't understand finances. I don't understand money, period. What is money? What even is money? But I don't know what an investment program is. Or
I think we don't understand it fully because we don't have any.
Oh yeah, I think because we are not wealthy, we don't understand what investment portfolios are.
We have no investments, so
I don't understand.
No, I think they've been a little vague about their description of it, but I think it's just a different
funding mechanism?
Vehicle for doing the same thing that they were doing before.
Okay,
it's probably it has something to do with taxes. I don't know.
Honestly,
but, yeah.
Okay, cool. But hey, I love this 2030 goal.
Yeah,
see you in 6 years.
We're standing by. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I've gotten a ton of people asking me, what do you think about this? I'm like, it's brand new, so we're all standing by to see exactly how this shakes out. But the
Everyone's
FDA,
so excited about this.
The FDA just approved an existing medication called Xolair to, as what they're saying is it averts severe food allergy reactions in people who have more than one food allergy. And so basically this is an existing medication. I believe it's been out for like 20 years, which is great because that means it's more likely that insurance will pay for it. And it's also been proven to be very efficacious and safe in other things. But they realized in testing that it also had other applications. And one being the fact that when taken in certain amounts, which is, they give it subcutaneously, it sounds like a couple every other week or every 2 weeks or something like that. It allows people to tolerate very, very small amounts of the food protein that they are allergic to. And that doesn't mean that they're going to go out and start eating these foods that they have a food allergy to. What it means is that they can live their lives without the anxiety of having anaphylaxis. And so that's what's so huge about this is that, and they saw some incredible results in their testing, 66%, 67%. Those are really high numbers of an increase for the people who could tolerate just a small amount of the food protein without having a reaction, whereas before they couldn't, and the people in the placebo group couldn't. So they were really, really impressed with those results, which is why the FDA has now approved it for this, to prevent having really severe food allergy reactions for people who do have severe food allergies. So it's more about, you got a kid who's going off to college, you want to like have some measure of,
all for accidental exposure, just like a
for sure
CYA, but just basically like if unfortunately there is cross contact, perhaps it would not lead to life-threatening anaphylaxis, which I think is really just we want to make sure that like we want to reduce the risk of allergic reactions. And obviously you'd still be prepared with your EpiPens, epinephrine, in case of an allergic reaction. But anything that you can do, like, you have people going through OIT so they can tolerate small amounts of peanuts or milk or other nuts so they can, whatever. Like that's all to make sure that if something happens, it wouldn't lead to deadly anaphylaxis or they would lessen the response that your body would have.
Right. So this is an improvement in the quality of life and in your mental health. So what I mean by a small amount of the food protein is that like what the studies showed were, for example, with peanuts, 68% of patients who in this study received the Xolair shots could tolerate about 2.5 peanuts without moderate severe allergic symptoms, which that's amazing for those people, because a lot of those people can't tolerate peanut dust, without having severe symptoms. And then with regard to milk, 66% treated with Xolair could tolerate at least 2 tablespoons of milk. So that's, again, we're talking about cross contact. We're talking about like, there was a drop of milk in that sauce or what have you. So it really is about quality of life and about mental health more than anything else. And so this is really huge. It's big news.
Yeah, it's huge news. And it is a monoclonal antibody and very similar to other things that you might see, biologic drugs for ulcerative colitis or any other GI symptoms that we know of. There's so many amazing antibodies and biosimilars that people can use now for anything. And it's really one of the modern age of medicine is just pretty incredible. We just saw Dupixent, which is another biologic that just got released for EOE. And we're seeing all these incredible monoclonal biologics, antibody drugs, classes that are being used for IBD that continue to develop and ulcerative colitis. And it's really pretty amazing what we're doing with drug development in this class of drugs. And I think it's just rad. I think it's super cool. And it's something that we've all kind of been waiting for these certain allergic conditions. And with Dupixent coming on for EOE, that was pretty rad. They tested Xolair for EOE, and it didn't really statistically significant find decrease in activity, although I think it did help with symptoms a little. But to see that this test is really pulling the weight. I mean, the numbers you gave were pretty amazing as far as cross contact.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad.
Yep. So if you are one of those people who suffers from multiple food allergies, or someone in your family does, definitely see your allergist about this to see whether it's something that's right for you. Because this could be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, chances are your allergist is already on TikTok and social media answering questions about it, because I mean, the day that it happened, everyone sent a message, fair, fact, I, 4 A's and an I. I mean, everyone is just talking. It's the number one thing that people are talking about, which, you know, there are some biologics or whatever being tested for celiac disease too, because wouldn't it be lovely if like a biologic, an injection could work for us as well? So far, nothing has in clinical trials, but maybe. I
don't know. Beyond Celiac said it's going to happen by 2030. So. I don't know.
In 6 years.
You never know. You never know. All right. Well, stay tuned for some other episodes coming up from Expo West, our big finds, new product finds. So we have Expo West coming up, and we also have now the Housewares show coming up. We have a lot of things coming up. So,
and then we get to find the results of my endoscopy. Probably not by next one, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they find in there. A treasure, a trinket, a king cake baby.
Let's hope not.
No, I didn't eat any. I didn't even get any at the store. I'm so mad I didn't go buy one.
I'll have to make you one day.
Don't put any plastic in any of the cakes that you make me, please. Traumatizing enough.
Wait, note to self. No plastic.
No plastic for Erica.